do your makeup? Perfect. I'm glad you're taking this serious. Perfect.
Go on, give us a little bit. Say something.
Hello.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. We don't actually have any show notes to go off
We
this
didn't
time.
last time.
I had a few.
Did you?
Touch back on yet.
Oh, you've got to write them down.
But I got towed in. That's all I've got. It's alright. We'll just be positive this episode.
Yeah, we can break the bad news that Sam Hill was out with injury.
Alright. Are you good, Sam?
You're rolling, boys.
We're recording. Alright. Welcome back, viewers. Another episode towed in. Here with my man Eddie Masters on site in Val Di Sole, the Valley of the Sun. We're going to be positive this week, guys. We've copped some criticism for not being positive enough, so...
Did we?
A little bit. Not a heap, but a few people who didn't like some stuff. So we're coming in happy. First story of the week. This is actually not a happy story though. This is opposite. This is sad. Like, we're gonna start with sad and then we're gonna work our way into happy. Okay. The man, the myth, the legend, Sam Hill.
Yes, I was very excited for the return of Jesus on a bike.
He was rising. He was looking good.
And he was rising. I guess this show we've got to talk about Leo Gang, and it was really cool to see Sam qualify in Leo Gang. And I think it was just like the beginning of an upward trajectory for, the slow rise of Jesus.
I felt it, and then coming to Val Di Sole with the infamous Sam Hill laid down that World Champs run, I was like, it was coming.
And, when did he do it? 2008 was the iconic World Champs. Almost win.
Look
third
at
place.
the time.
Yeah.
Look at the time. I'm pretty sure that's where it was birthed.
The blowing up rear shock and wash out on the last corner.
Yeah. You can actually see it from here.
But also with the weather looking a little bit dicey coming into this weekend, I have to say it could have, woulda, shoulda, could have done some crazy stuff.
Val Di Sole in the wet with flat pedals. That's a recipe.
Because I think the first two tracks don't quite suit Sam's style of being,
foot out,
flat out, or like a rider's rider. So I think Val Di Sole could have been his one. But so like get well soon, Sam.
So for anyone wondering, he went to Innsbruck to race the Crankworks. Not sure exactly how he crashed or how it happened, but I'm sure he broke a bone in his foot.
Yeah, I saw a picture and he was in the airport in a wheelchair with his leg in a cast. So
get well, Sam. Thoughts and prayers are with you. But that's to start off. Positive note we're going to go into track here in Val Di Sole. We've just walked it today and it's looking good. They've definitely listened to everyone when they said last year it was absolutely destroyed, and they've brought in about 12 metric tons of dirt to just kind of massage it back to health.
I haven't actually seen it yet, but do you think that it'll hold up?
Yeah. They've planted some buffalo grass in the dirt, and you can see it's really just
the binding agent is working.
The binding agent is there and is holding it together, so I think we're good. I think they put it before the winter. They actually were smart and didn't do it the week before, so I think it's going to hold up. And it's kind of nice coming here and knowing if it does rain, which it's apparently supposed to, that you can still get down. It's going to be all good. Where last year, if it rained, go home.
Well, it was 2019 when it rained in biblical fashion.
18.
Yeah, before qualies.
Yeah.
Like rain, you would. Yeah.
I remember being in the
serious rain,
and you couldn't even talk to the person next to you because of the sound of the rain on the tin, and a lot of people didn't really.
I remember catching my seat, or like blowing both feet, catching my seat, and then ripping my pants like stripper pants.
Just in half. It actually happened 19 as well. It happened 18 and 19 before quali. One had happened before anyone started. I'm pretty sure that was 19, and 18 had happened halfway through the field. Because I remember Jack Moyer was racing and he was in the start gate and he couldn't even see the first corner because it was absolutely pissing down that much. So it's not the one you want it to rain down just before quali. And that seems like a bit of a trend lately, because that's what happened at Leo Gang.
But as a media guy, I'm looking forward to some spicy weather, because it definitely makes
it adds to it.
It makes the job a little bit more exciting, especially these days when everyone's so dialed on track. A few bananas out there.
Definitely.
Make it a bit more interesting for
Because I saw
everyone.
you rode up on the KTM and had was that a little bit intel you were telling the riders when you went up before quali? Were you just letting everyone know that it's not going to be good?
No, one of the photographers wanted to get up because he's just thought that it would be an amazing shot getting the first straight if it was raining. And I had access to a motorbike, so I said I'd run him up the hill, and then just hung out at the top and got to chat with the guys before they dropped in.
Before we went into hell. Yeah. But there was definitely some good Ed Bull Media House moments that you captured.
Yeah. I was keen to get out in the most exposed areas of track as soon as the riders started coming down, because you want to get those clickbait crashes.
Who looked the best and who looked the worst, in your opinion?
Hard to say, really. It's just like when it's wet like that.
If you survive, you'll...
Yeah, and like you can't see speed. It's just, it looks, everyone's.
You can't see speed, yeah, true.
Well,
I know
half a second through a section, it's like you can't visibly see that in the dry and in the wet. But like some guys make it look a lot easier than others.
All right, and touching on, you don't have much of a voice.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive into that. The route, what is it? Track 3 or the third track? Track 3. What do you call stage 3 of the EWS in Canada? No, not Canada. EDR, sorry, at Val Di Sole.
Yeah.
Was held on the weekend, and the climb actually did your voice as well.
Yeah, it was physical for the spectators and the riders.
Some say more for the spectators. Because Max's voice sounds pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, no, I was being very vocal with my support for certain people. So the Kiwis definitely got the gold standard treatment up the climb, where I chased them up the climb and then chased them along the flat, which, I mean, it paid off. We had second in the stage, fourth in the stage, littered the top 10, yeah. So
you should have, like we were saying, you should have put a split time from the climb.
It would have been super interesting. It was actually the most exciting part of the day for me, was the climb, because riders were catching other riders. Richie Rude almost caught Reese Werner because Reese had crashed higher up, but you could just see how much motivation when someone could see the rider in front. It made it transformed it.
He was a little carrot.
Jesse was catching poor Dan Booker on flats, and it's just like dangling the carrot.
That's disheartening to be caught in a race, especially when you haven't crashed.
And the other surprising thing for me was in the women's, on a climb that's so steep, a 30-second gap only equates to about 100 metres of track. So you've just got
So you see one at the bottom, one at the top.
Rider, yeah. And it was actually really exciting as a spectator.
Just for the climb.
Yeah, it was, there was a lot going on.
Who won the climb in your opinion?
Hands down, Richie. He just, when everyone was kind of spinning, he was grinding. And if I had to pick a top 5, I'd probably go Richie, Jesse or Wax, Jack Menzies, and this little French dude who rides for Cube, Nathan Secondi.
He was going for it.
Yeah, powder weight, I reckon, for him was the make or break. He was just in this movement.
Okay, another one. Who was making the most noise? Who was putting out the most horsepower?
Maybe Alex Rideau. He's the French guy. He's also on flat pedals, and he was breathing pretty hard. And the interesting thing was, Wax, Jack Moyer, someone else, they locked out their shocks at the bottom of the climb and then manually unlocked it at the top. So because you obviously know, how beneficial and hard do you think that would be, obviously, because there's a little bit of a straight before it that you could do. Yeah, easy to unlock, but really hard easy to lock, but really hard to unlock when you're fully fatigued.
When you're gassed as well. Just leave it locked out.
Yeah.
Have you done that before in a race?
No.
Never?
Nah, never tried.
Have you ever run a lockout before?
Sometimes I forget to unlock my shock at the top, and then not on purpose.
Yeah.
But
because when we raced World Champs in Cairns, I put a lockout on, and I just thought I'd use it for the bottom. I used it like 3 times in my run, because obviously that track's pretty flat. I used it through the top jump, because it wasn't fully locked out. It was
What kind of lockout system did you use? Like, how did it work?
just like on a wire. It just like pulled the lever on the shot.
And you had a lever.
I just had like a dropper post kind of lever. So I did
you
that.
did it on you weren't reaching down.
No. This was like, but then I kept it on my bike, and when I raced back in Oz, I'd use it all the time. I kind of want to put another one on my bike, because I think somewhere like Leogang or something, you could definitely see the benefits of using it.
And then if you know this, like Enduro, you don't have the novelty as much of knowing the stage or the track perfectly like you do with downhill. So it means, you know, sometimes you're kind of riding a bit more unknown, whereas downhill, you know every single rock. And if you don't know every single rock and what corners coming out, then you've gone seriously wrong.
Yeah, this is very true.
So it means you, like, just like you do with planning your gear changes and stuff. It's like what Loick's doing with his bike. He's definitely got some sorcery going on in there.
Have you seen as well, what is your opinion of this? Because I've seen a few people that do it, the old gear change in the air. Reese Wilson has been someone that's been pioneering it. I think Loris might have done it. Someone did it the other day at Leogang.
I do it sometimes.
Someone did it jumping into the woods at Leogang. They jumped in and did like a pedal, like changed it, and I was like, that's...
But then it's like strategic in the sense that they probably don't feel comfortable getting a pedal stroke in for the next section of track until they need to be in that gear. So like they're just doing it. They're like preempting the gear that they want to be in, but it's probably way further down the track. And that's when I've done it.
Do you think about gear changing when you're riding enduro track?
No.
You just see how you feel?
Just go off feel, and if anything, if I'm going to be pedaling, I'll probably pedal in a slightly lighter gear than you would to like do an all-out sprint, because you, especially over uneven terrain, you just want to be able to like get the cadence going.
Get going, yeah. What about downhill though? It'd be more, because you can kind of fine tune it. You do it more in downhill. Yeah,
fine tune it more in downhill, and then you know, I think if there's like a speed where if you're going above that, don't pedal. Yeah. If you're not pushing anything really hard, it's probably better to be aero than it is to like smash the pedals.
Well, I feel like the motorway on Leogang, everyone stopped pedaling because Gwyn won without a chain. Like, as soon as he did that, everyone's like, don't pedal. Like, why would you?
But he had, like Maradona had the hand of God, Gwyn might have had the breath of God. Because I remember that day it was quite windy.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a religious man.
Well, things might have just gone a bit more calm.
The track parted, the wind came, pushed him home.
Like the Red Sea.
Like the Red Sea. The other positive things, Waldo, what have you got for some positivity for the fans?
I just really enjoyed watching people like do the gangster scrubs on the motorway.
You're into it?
Yeah, because the speed that everyone's going these days, they really like needed to scrub, and you definitely can tell who can do it well and who can't.
Yeah.
Because you've got to. It's such a. That's probably a minute of track, so you've got to catch downside on all those jumps, I think. Otherwise,
was Jackson the fastest on that section? Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Jackson was the fastest in those middle. And it's funny because he'd weigh one of the lightest riders out of everyone.
And would you say light is
not better in that situation? But it was apparently
small.
Yeah, away.
Small would help.
Tucked away.
Light, for sure.
Because it's like someone like Andy, because he pulled heap of time back at the bottom, and he was still fast on that. But I thought he would be like, because he's built so big.
Something's eating me.
Flies.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you surprised by? Because I remember you said in the like Andy's going to come out swinging, which he did, and got the win. You pretty much nailed the podium. Like you nailed the women's, and you got pretty much all the men's right, just not in the right order.
No, well, that's why I said it, you know.
Is there no fantasy league anymore?
Nah, Pinkbike killed the fantasy league.
You could have been leading right now.
Yeah.
I was actually
could have won a dropper post or something.
Man. Bring back Fantasy League. Leave in the comments how badly you want Fantasy League and tag Pink Pipe.
Yeah, or leave your top 3 for this race and Dean might give you a prize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave it in the comments.
Leave your comments.
Leave your men's and women's top 3.
Do you want to do the top? Well, because we actually have a guest lined up today.
Yeah, we do. We have a real treat.
We'll hold off. We'll let the people wait until.
Okay.
We'll probably put his name in the title anyway, so they'll know. But we'll just hold off. Anyway.
Well,
or do we talk about him before he gets here?
No, let's talk about apart from the podium, what were your standouts for Leo Gang, and yeah.
Standouts for Leo Gang.
It could be for like how they're riding on track, or.
I'm trying to think who was really standing out.
I can start. I was really impressed with Phil Atwell. He was killing it, but then he was like unlucky not to survive the semi-final cut.
It's a hard thing, man.
Yeah,
it's not. You got to do a full-blown race run for that, and there's nothing. What surprised me was how small the gaps were in time between everyone.
Bernie actually had a really interesting point that he was, because he's been on the podium in Leo Gang before, and he was in 26th place in the semi-final, closer to first than he was when he was on the podium, which was pretty mental.
There you go.
3 seconds back in 26 or something.
That's insane. My standout, sorry, I've thought of someone, Ronan Dunn. I know we always talk about him, but he looked like he had a run where he wasn't out of control. He was actually consistent and clean, which we love to see.
He took his out of control run to the internet the week after in Morzine.
Yeah, he's kind of becoming...
he's a cult hero.
Yeah. Yeah, he's real downhill. But him, I liked... Because there was absolutely no line choice really in the bottom woods. It was like hit the main line as fast as you can, but Jackson did one line which I was like, oh, that's good, where he like set up and jumped into a little bomb hole right near the bottom before he jumped over like a creek, and I saw that and I was like, that's smart to get the downside, because everyone else was brake checking and he nailed that. So I remember seeing that little thing, I thought that was really cool. Another thing was talking to like Dylan Levesque, seeing what Troy said and seeing what Benoit Coulanges, they all said they had runs they thought would have been like podium runs, and they were outside the top 10. So it's like interesting to see riders say they're going that hard, and these are guys that have been on podiums and have won races, and then to see that and their fastest is not quite even there at the moment, which is scary.
Jordan Williams didn't quite back up the previous week.
Do you think that's just pressure though? Wearing the leader's jersey?
I think it's like a winner's hangover maybe.
Yeah.
Or like there's such thing as like the Sports Illustrated curse, where I think they put like the #1 draft pick or something on Sports Illustrated, and then they never seem to
overhype kind of.
Yeah. But I mean, he won the race. Where did he end up?
13th, I think.
Yeah. So it's like.
And then what's the time gap as well? 1 second back.
Yeah, but you're just expecting.
But it's crazy, if he came out and got 13th at Lenzerheide and then 13th at Leo Gang, everyone would be like, that's a really good start. He's only, but it's because when you win, you like this.
Yeah.
Once you get to the top, hey, it's kind of like you're going to go backwards, and people are very like critical then as well.
I would pick him, because we're on the topic of Jordan Williams, I would pick him to be right up there this weekend, because last year, well, he's probably sobered up.
He's got an IV drip that has gone.
Not like he's been drinking, but like if we're going to use the hangover as analogy, then he's probably sobered up after Lenzerheide. And
oh, I thought we had a guest. You can come through. You can go. You can go if you want.
But last year he was flying. I know it rained before men's finals. Or during men's finals here, but I think he still had the fastest time by 4 seconds of the day. And there was weather involved, but he was seriously flying. And Jackson Goldstone was also on a similar pace. And I remember watching them when I was just like cruising the B zone looking for lines, and like as you do. And I was like kind of dejected by the track because it was so rough, and I was kind of over it because we'd just been racing on the trot for so long that I was like, I felt like I'd already given up before I'd even started. But I was like, those young guys are just like getting on with it, and if you can just like regard.
Get on with it.
Yeah, you know.
Get on with it.
Yeah. They're just like getting on with it and making it work, and they really were making it work. And I was like, oh,
But you also got to.
I was like, I need a bit of that.
You also got to think this is like their first Val Di Sole.
Yeah.
I remember my first Val Di Sole, man. I was so.
And didn't you win here?
Yeah, that was second year. First year I broke my wrist actually, so that wasn't that good. But second year, yeah, as a junior.
Yeah.
It's me, Freestyle Phil, and Luca Shaw on the podium, all by 0.1 of a second.
I actually, we're tangenting, but this is what these things are for.
Yeah.
Listened to a podcast with Luca, and he was saying how he got on the podium here, and specialised. Like they had the demo, but they said that he had to ride the status, and he raced the status here with a quick release rear wheel. Like you don't even get a through axle.
Yeah, I remember him and Walker were on that little team together.
Yeah,
SRAM was the unofficial SRAM TLD team. But you were more hyped to come to Val Di Sole then, and also there was a lot more dirt back then.
Yeah, and that's where I think they're just kind of going wrong a little bit, is they're putting the track, or just keep running the same track when they could just move it. You know, like they could make a sick Loma in the B zone and just go in and out of it, but...
They've kind of done that a little bit this year, not quite.
Oh, we're getting sucked into that negative vortex.
That's what I mean, this is a positive episode, Eduardo. This is a positive episode. They've done well. They've done well. No, it's only positivity.
But I can see our special guest has arrived at the perfect time to inject a bucket of positivity.
We have special guests.
Yay!
Matt Walker. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Jump on.
Perfect timing. We were just getting sucked into a vortex of negativity.
Oh, that doesn't happen in a mountain bike race.
So, Matt Walker, welcome to the show. Towed in here with Eddie Masters.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
You sound like you've just done a stage.
Quick effort, yeah, just because I realised I was running late.
So there's no rest for the wicked.
But this is what it is. We're here.
We're here, we're doing it. So, is this how you felt after you won Val Di Fassa?
Worse than this.
Worse than this?
Well, we need to congratulate everyone, well, from the viewers and us on the big win last weekend.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. How does it feel? How do you feel?
I'm still tired now. This is like half a week later. Still recovering. So, resting here at Val Di Sole.
True. Resting for the downhill.
Yeah, exactly.
The downhill's a rest week.
And maybe the four cross.
Yeah, why not? Just wearing a few hats this week. So.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, we have a crack.
Because we were going to say you were going to qualify at Leo Gang until an incident happened that Wano caught on camera.
Decided not to almost.
Yeah. Was that like a tactical thing or was that just...
A little bit. No, I was just having heaps of fun that day anyway. And then I kind of had a bit of a brain fart and realised, or kind of forgot that it was qualifying and they probably should be taking it a bit more seriously, but...
Well, not skidding and stopping and waving.
Yeah, well, I got a bit loose on the section before, so then I was like,
had to claim it.
Yeah, laughing with because there was heaps of people there cheering me on. So
and that's all you can do in a mud race.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Go with the flow and have a laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
My main problem was after that I kind of just switched off and rode to the bottom. Didn't really attack at all. I was just well, my run's done anyway. I'm just having a bit of fun and don't want to risk it. Come across the line, and then I was like, man, I probably should have actually pedaled a bit more.
What did you come across the line?
It's 56. So I was like, just then, and I was like, okay, I know it's going to be tight, so, but it is what it is. Still had a good time.
I was going to say, having fun, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd done the Enduro the day before, so my work was essentially done for the weekend anyway.
How many practice runs did you get prior to quali?
I reckon I did 4.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid effort to be able to fit in 4.
Yeah, I just lapped out. I had to make 2 changes to the bike while I was trying to juggle all that too.
And talk us through, so you finished the Enduro on Thursday?
Yeah.
And then
qualifying and practice was on the Friday.
So you just practiced on that first day on Friday?
Yeah.
Well, second day?
Yeah.
And then went straight into quali?
Yeah.
True.
And then I don't know, I was just having a bit of fun with it, and then kind of wanted to keep the pressure light, so I was trying to tell my mechanic not to even bother coming up the hill. Just felt like
just the club race.
Because I didn't want it to feel like a World Cup.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just well, I'm having a fun day, why ruin it by
making it serious.
Putting too much pressure and making it serious. So I was just nah, I just want to have a bit of fun with it. So just kind of messed around at the top of the hill, took a bit of shit, had a bit of a laugh.
It's pretty funny going to the top of the hill when everyone's crammed in that little...
Yeah, it was miserable out there for a while. It was sideways rain, freezing cold. Wasn't into
Miss
it.
Enduro.
Yeah. I was glad that happened on the downhill day, not the enduro day.
I was going to say, how was the enduro as well? Because you guys were saying before there wasn't much of a crowd because it was run during the week on like the Tuesday, which might be positive, but there was also something, so we've got to be realistic about here.
Yeah, being realistic, like, I don't know, you have a long day out there on the bikes and with the enduro. We talk a whole lot sort of thing. And it kind of felt like we were almost like the ugly cousin at the wedding, almost like being told to like, oh, go away like for a bit and then come back later on at night. Because we're away for the whole day and then come back, and our race run was mine was like 8:15 at night or something. So you're like, okay, like.
Yeah, like I'd love to know why it needed to be so late.
Or even why did it need to be on a Thursday if we were not even at the venue really all day. Like we could have run on Saturday and then come down after qualifying, had fans, had a bit more interaction, had, I don't know, part of it.
But that's what you were saying, yeah, come down after qualifying, everyone's there, you guys are kind of separate, you get fans, you get people watching, you get like eyes on you.
Yeah, it's literally ESO sport. I would have thought they'd want to build it up by doing stuff like this, not almost trying to snuff it out by putting it.
Yeah, everyone felt a little bit let down, I think, from Leo Gang.
Yeah.
Like, every thing you kind of thought might come from doing a double header and adding it to the downhill and stuff.
Triple header.
Or triple header or whatever, it like went completely the opposite. And I don't think the riders were very impressed with the stages.
No.
Because I didn't ride, so just from what I'd seen and heard. And with it being a pro-only enduro, like you don't need to tape out bike park jumps.
No.
Like they are public bike park jumps. They're not like super technical features.
For those who don't know, basically we'd have some of the tracks that were in the bike park. You'd have some of the features in, some of them you'd get up to it and then they just dogleg you off the track, around it in the grass and then back onto the track. And it's a bit
like a safety thing, or?
But it's not like...
It's not safer.
What they taped out is so much less dangerous than stuff they leave in.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see it as a safety thing. Sure, maybe they're trying to mix it up, but that doesn't make for a good track and doesn't make for good racing. It's a track for a reason kind of thing. And like, I guess when you can't practice a track, you almost need like some sort of predictability with it, not just being like, okay, the track flows like this, then all of a sudden it turns off, and like that gets dangerous because you're not you can't predict where they're going to turn it off or how it's going to go or like what they've turned you onto.
You want it to make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You can't find any flow. It's just like
you can't put a 90-degree corner over a blind crest because so like you shouldn't do that to jumps as well.
Is this a new theme or is this something that's been happening for a while?
No, it's just that one seemed. I think it was just Leo Gang.
Yeah, that one seemed a bit.
Is that the first enduro they've had?
In Leo Gang?
Yeah,
I'd say so. Like we had to ride like for our first stage, we had a 3-hour liaison to another bike park to ride some other tracks because I guess they don't have enough trails in the area or something. So it felt like it was very pieced together. To
3-hour liaison. This is why you finished at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but like what I don't understand is like enduro used to be about going to these cool places, riding cool tracks. If a venue doesn't have the facilities for an enduro, why are we there? There's only one person benefiting from that almost, and it seems to be not the riders. Leo Gang rant over.
Positivity. We're going to Val Di Sole now. But that's like, that was one thing, like even with racing down, like I went to Val Di Sole a couple of years ago and it was like just to go to somewhere new.
Different,
and that's such obviously a thing with enduro that I've seen is like you guys go to a lot of different places that are really cool.
I guess like it should be a World Series, but I guess there is only so many venues that are willing to put their hand up and do it, but we do get a lot more variety, I guess, which is a good thing.
But I've heard, is the price to hold events increasing as well?
I don't know. We wouldn't. Yeah. So we don't actually know.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, speculation.
It points to yes.
Well, I just heard that some are pulling out for these reasons, and this is just
or like there's so many places, so many amazing places to ride that would love to hold it, but financially can't because the burden of being like, hey, we're holding a World Series event is massive before they even start moving anything or starting anything. Just that initial cost to be a World Enduro or EDR, whatever it is now, is so massive that it just like
turns people away.
I've always thought it would be cool if you could add like Enduro World Cup status to events that are already happening that are big. So, you know, wherever like. And like, if there's races in America and stuff, then you're like, sweet, would you like to like become a World Series stop? You just need to open up 100 spots.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's less riders, but it also means all of these events around the world that are already happening, you elevate their event by bringing 100 of the best riders to their event that's going on. So it's like you're working with events that are already happening, rather than making them standalone.
The one I like for you, that idea of yours, is how you were saying it would be sick to make the mega avalanche a round of the EWS. So basically, like the top 100 compete in the mega, so it's head-to-head racing for EWS sort of stuff. But it's like, say,
it's a subcategory.
Yeah.
So if you're like part of the EWS series, you get points from that race. So like everyone's
you encourage people
race.
to go do it.
Yeah, because like Enduro is about the variety, and it's about different formats and different things. It's just about riding your bike, so it should be not like a cookie cutter format.
Well, like last weekend, you won the longest stage and the shortest stage, and it's the person who won the race obviously is the best at riding all these different types of like terrain and like, but yeah.
Ideas. Have you done? Have you done the mega?
No, I'd love to.
Have you done the mega?
Yeah, it's mental.
Talk us through it.
It's terrifying.
I just like the Euro party beats, and then just like death sirens before you go.
It is terrifying.
I reckon it, like those videos you see of people on the glacier doing 100 k's an hour and just like T-boning each other, just kind of scares me off it a bit. But at the same time, you want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Do you kind of not want to have a good start though? Because I feel like starting further back and making your way through people would be fun. It'd be way more entertaining than if you got to the front and then you just got to hold and maintain
like
that.
an hour of just.
And then you just run by yourself. Yeah,
I reckon that's the strategy you want in all mass starts.
I just wait at the back, let them pile up, and then you just come and just
we
put a GoPro on. You get some views from
in
that.
Queenstown, we used to have a bit of an underground like mass start thing going on where.
Didn't you do that when you got to like pick up grass and put in your helmet? Was that thing?
Yeah. So they always have like.
Random challenge at this,
and you just want to like cruise at the back and then just
win that.
and then you just start picking people off, and it's so much fun.
Yeah,
big fan.
So Enduro's got to go to
to the mega.
That's another one. How do we fix downhill? That's the next one.
Well, downhill's not broken.
It's not broken. How do we?
You've got to be positive.
Positive. Polish it.
How do we polish it up? How do we polish it up?
I'd say less racing. In a way, semi-finals.
This is the thing. No, everyone that has seen that I put up talk about semi-finals, no one's into it.
Nah.
No one seems to be that into it.
As a fan, I think it just dilutes it too much, and you're like, if you want to watch the whole day, it's 6 hours of racing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, don't. Even if you're the biggest mountain bike fan, 6 hours is too much to be sat in front of the TV.
Yeah. Do you think you could do just finals, but show more runs and more in-depth stuff?
Yeah. But even then, the Red Bull coverage was mint with top 30.
Yeah, I reckon the 30 is a good number. They have the stats to show that most people tune in from like 15, you know.
But also
like
the end bit, but even the top 30, like the first 15 guys, you don't really see that much of their runs. So I'm saying like show their full run.
Yeah.
So you can build more of a picture with that.
But there's so many people that are in that 30 to 15 bracket sometimes that. I know, that's their stepping stones to being 15 to 10, then 10 to top 5 sort of thing.
I mean, Andy Cole's been 9 years in elite, and he's gone like that.
Yeah, but that's mainly to do with the mustache. I was going to say, since that thing got grown, there's made some power come from that. Like any other reasons, like you can really come to mind.
I didn't think of that, but
it does make it checks out on all levels.
He cleans the track with his mustache.
Cleans everything. Don't let him know your mum. So less racing, we're saying.
It's hard, like
more fireworks at the finish line.
Yeah, Supercross.
Like Supercross. Well, we've got the big arches now.
No, it's not an arch. It's 2 poles.
Or 2 poles. 2 poles.
So maybe,
that's
to make
perfect.
racing better, they need to bring back the top arch. Like
we've got some more special guests.
Yeah. So,
what do you guys reckon?
fireworks, arches, less racing,
pyrotechnics,
more coverage at the top of the track.
Yeah. Yeah. a bit of, like,
I hate that we always fall back to negative, but there's always something that just rears its ugly head.
It did make me laugh watching the screen at Leo Gang, and there was still a few like live cuts to the team manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they cut it down.
Yeah.
They definitely cut
I
it down.
thought it was heaps in Leo Gang. I didn't see the one before.
Oh, dude, the one in
So it's just like missing someone's whole run because the manager's
I think
stood there.
Jordan's winning run, when he drops in the steep chute in the middle of Lenzerheide, it's just literally the Ron's head.
You're like, why?
Yeah, but
If
they did get better, but still,
Yeah.
just cut it completely.
Yeah, get rid of that. Like, if anything, it's, I don't know, kind of making the rider more of an object and the manager the personality by doing stuff like that sort of thing. So it's like
which is kind of like what they do in F1 because they have the, what do they call them, the like team boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team boss.
Yeah.
And in Drive to Survive, they're all like superstars from that. But knowing most of the team managers in the paddock at mountain bike events, they're not really superstars.
I'm sure some of them think they are.
Yeah.
This is the thing I think as well, that you know when you watch something like the UFC or even like motocross and all that, they build stories around athletes more.
Yeah, you got to
exactly.
make your stars.
So there's no.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't
you
have
lose
stars.
like a personality of like a rider. They become just a rider, not a person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I saw that happening with, well, back to being negative, with the Enduro coverage a few years ago. It used to be like, say you get to the bottom of the stage, they'd shove a camera in your face and interview you.
Yeah.
So you got your like raw, honest reaction. As soon as that dropped away, like you watch the recaps. Yeah, it's cool recaps, but you lose that personal connection with like a rider. And I feel like, I don't know, we are people. We're not just bike riders. We're not just like robots piloting a bike down a hill. So like, bring back some personality, I guess.
Yeah.
And when you're like super smashed after a physical stage, you're getting an honest reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no time to like process, am I like being super professional here and whatnot. You're just like, that was fucking horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how was stage 3 for you? Because we're saying Eddie's lost his voice, he wasn't even racing.
Yeah,
So
man, it was just like a sufferfest, but like, I don't know. My approach was just like make it as short as possible, so just give it as much as you can.
You're saying that's the most nervous you've been for a stage?
Yeah, because
Wow.
like, I don't know, normally you come to a mountain bike race, like a downhill, and you're like, you know what the track is, you know what to expect, you can do a full run. On that, you don't know how you're going to react or how deep you're going to go or how terrible you're going to feel until you're doing it.
And some days you've got it and some days you don't, in terms of like going and doing a full-on max effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie said, you know, 2 years ago Charlie won that stage and he said like, oh, today I just didn't have it. But it doesn't mean you like don't have it.
Yeah.
He just didn't have it for that day.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a bit of
Luck
throwing the
almost.
dart on the board and like whether it hits and whether it doesn't.
Yeah.
When I say the feeling, because I compare that to, you know when you get to the Deer Gate at Fort William?
Yeah.
And you know at that point whether you're going to have a good run or not.
Yes.
If you're still holding on attacking, you're like, oh, we're good. If you're like,
exactly.
I need to sit down.
And for like no given reason, some days you're there and other days you're not. And when you feel like you've ridden exactly the same, it's just one of those anomalies that like doesn't make sense.
But it felt good. It felt like you were like,
things were just working. And like I said, well, like he said, it's just like some days you have it, some days you don't. And I guess I just got lucky with it being an on day for me.
Did you put a fair gap into second? Hey?
Yeah, not a bad one, and just sort of pulled away on the
Good
last
flex too, winning the last stage with a gap as well.
Oh yeah.
Because like you didn't need to win the last stage. That's a good mic drop. Like
I remember, I think that's a flex. I remember there was a motocross, I think Dungey was leading the overall and he needed to get like a top 20 to win, and he was in second and then he just fought and won. And that's like, I don't even have to do this.
Yeah.
But
the weird thing on the weekend was, I don't know, it was just one of that, I guess I just went into a different state of mind almost in a weird way, because like I knew I didn't need to do good. I was like, okay, what I thought I was doing at the time was enough for like
was safe.
a top 10 safe run, and then it wins it. You're like, I don't know, it just felt like I knew exactly what I needed to do and I was just doing it rather than it being forced, and then for some reason it worked. So.
did it get easy?
Flow state,
Full
man.
flow state was weird.
Did it get easier as the day went on because you kind of like
Yeah,
you
like
saw it
you're
was
getting like
working?
this like second wind of just like, oh, this is like things are clicking, things are coming together. It's like a weird scenario, because normally the day gets harder and you're struggling, but I don't know.
It's getting better.
It's hard to put.
You're just ticking them off, one by one, but it's just getting easier.
Yeah, and it just like things work. It's just weird.
How is it feeling? Because the last stage has the big ridge line that you ride down.
No, that was second to last stage.
That was second to last stage.
And then we finished on like this short little jank one.
Oh, so they changed. Yeah. So they changed it. But that ridgeline one.
Yeah.
How was that when you're obviously in that feeling? You're on this ridge in like the middle of these mountains. You're just like, "Whoa, this is the moment."
Yeah, exactly. Like I knew that was going to be like a pretty pivotal stage because it was like the biggest one out. And I don't know. That's just where it started all slipping into place. And like you can't not be stoked when you're riding something like that. So I was just like, well, let's give it heaps and see how we go. And then about halfway down, I'd started catching glimpses of Jack more. And so like,
which must be quite a motivating thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack is no slouch, and like he's won that stage before.
Yeah, and then it just like dangles this carrot, so you just go deeper and harder than you thought you possibly could.
I'm just trying to think of the two mindsets of you seeing him and then his mindset of you hearing him.
Yeah,
and like both are like motivating in their own way.
He said he started hearing the whistles and he just started going ham. And I actually looked at the because they got split times on the stages. Yeah. And so Jack had like a few average, like the two top splits were pretty average, but then the last split for him, he was like second fastest, so he must have been coming and just like
little fire under his arm.
Yeah.
True.
The dog was chasing him.
Because he's sick at the moment. Hey.
He's having a bit of a rough time.
He's had it super bad. Like like every time I talk to him, he's not been so well.
Yeah, it's
just mad colds and stuff, and there's been a bit of that going around. But
at least you gave him some motivation.
He's had a rough go at it.
Yeah.
Which kind of like...
Well, it comes back to as well, you say like you can have it and then...
and it's for no reason. It's not like you're like going and putting yourself in a room with people who are sick and being like, oh, get me sick.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just luck of the draw, But I think for him it must be tough because there must be a little bit of added pressure because he's just like put together this new program, and like I'm sure they're stoked because like Jack's probably like the biggest influence on all things enduro just because of his like the content he puts out. Because if people can't watch it live, where do you go to get anything on enduro? You go you go Moi Moi TV.
Well, it's crazy to think even. Like I find it funny even with like this or like BK's vlogs or stuff like that. You see all the comments and people like between like you, Win, BK, even this stuff, Jack. It's like they get more information about what's happening than
the people than the actual event.
The actual event, and that's what we're saying. Like you need to build stories around people. Like why isn't this happening? Like why? Like obviously this is good for us because it promotes us and whatever we're doing. But like this should be something that they're doing as well. And I know they do it, but not to I don't think the level that they could.
No.
And you just like you need to be able to have access to the riders because if you know the way I talk to someone who knocks on my door and I've never met them before is completely different to when Wax rolls into the kitchen and you have like a different dynamic. So I think there's a bit of like tactic on who they get to do stuff like that. You can't just get someone new and just keep rolling them out. Like you've got to let someone like build up a relationship with the riders, and then you get the actual
who they are.
Yeah, who they are, because that's what people want. They just crave to know someone's personality and stuff. They
want to be like feel close to a person and like actually be the riders be people, not just riders.
Well, that's what kind of shocked me about when you see Jack's vlogs and BK's vlogs, and I guess I watch them and I'm not that interested because I know them so well, but to someone else who doesn't know them, that's their way of like, and you guys as well, because you're obviously in them, they're like, they feel part of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you could see it when Bernie's vlogs were like growing. Oh, it's just like the change in like the dynamics of fans to Bernie.
Yeah.
It went from like people being fans like of Bernie to people feeling like they know Bernie.
It's like fans to friends.
Yeah, like one-sided at times, I guess. But like, it's just like it changes the dynamic because these people get a whole new insight into you as a person, or like BK or whoever's doing the vlog, and it creates like a new layer.
It's funny as well because they know you so well, and they come in like they're your friend, and they know shit that you've forgotten about, and you're just like, oh fuck, you do know me. So like, it's a weird.
They've literally been watching you for years, probably. And like seeing your day-to-day life for like years.
Do you find it weird? Because obviously you put out a heap of stuff on the internet about who you are and what you do, but then when people come up to you and they're like, they know it, it almost seems weird, kind of. Does it almost like take a second?
Yeah,
Not weird, but like it's like, oh shit, you did watch that, or you do know that, or you do listen to this.
But before I started racing, I was such like a nerd as well, and I would like watch everything.
You knew everything, yeah.
So it's just kind of like you can see, because I would read like Dirt magazine front to back, like always on Pink Bike, always like just like nerding out. So I can definitely see.
Can relate.
Yeah, you can kind of relate.
Yeah.
And now, like, when you're involved in the scene, you're like not doing it as not going
much,
as deep. But then I just find myself doing it in other sports that I follow.
Just translate to something.
Yeah. You just so.
Still a fan.
Are you a super fan in another sport?
Nah, but I just like go and watch heaps of like surf vlogs and stuff like that. Even though.
In my opinion, I don't think you should be a super fan of anything. I think you should be a fan is good. There's a line that can be crossed.
Yeah.
Becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
I would never go and ask someone for a photo because I'm like, nah. But like, I really enjoy watching what they do.
But if someone come and ask you for a photo, you're all for it.
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
All right, we wrap this up because you've got to get up the hill and watch the juniors come down.
Yeah, man, they actually start in 2 minutes.
That's all right. You don't. The first one's not bad. Should we? I don't know if we should touch on this, but younger marshals, or should we just skip over that?
How long we got? Half an hour?
We'll skip over that. We'll go through predictions for the weekend.
Okay.
You can do top 3, top 5, whatever you want.
We're going to do the top 5. Jackson.
Yeah.
Or is it in order? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'll go
First to
1, 2.
fifth.
I'll go 1, 2. Yeah, Jackson. Greg. Just like.
He's angry. He's angry.
Well, no, they're like opposites, you know. One's like ancient and one's.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Talk about Jackson like that.
Yeah. Well, his career's been since he was on a Strider, so he's probably had the same length career as Greg.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty similar, really.
Yeah, Jackson, Greg, Jordan, Laurie. No. Jackson, Greg, Finn, Jordan, Laurie.
Ooh,
And the women.
Valley, Cammy. Is Eleonora racing?
No, she's out.
Collarbone issues there.
Hometown. Yeah.
Maybe like Gracie Hemstreet. Someone a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
Serious wild card.
I'll do 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, my top 5 for the men would be, I'm going to call Finn for the win.
I like it, rhymes.
Yeah. BK is going to get an unfortunate second place by not much.
0.2, I've heard.
Oh yeah, wild card Bernard.
Yeah. Yeah, terrible employee. So we're going Finn,
No, I knew you were going to do that. So I
Fernie,
just like,
Loic, Jackson.
All right.
And
the women.
The women, yeah. Cammy, Valley. Is Marine Caribou?
Yeah, she's in.
Sure.
She's in there. She's in there. Right. All right. Laurie
for the win.
for the win.
Yeah, nice.
Weird.
Benoit. I always put
BC, yeah, legend.
Finn.
Strong.
I reckon Troy. Troy's good.
Consistent.
Consistent.
Safe choices.
And what's number 5 going to be?
Between Jordan or Jackson.
Oh, young.
Yeah. We'll go Jordan.
Okay.
We'll go Jordan. And then for the women, I think Valley's on a tear at the moment.
Young.
Cammy and
Determined.
Nina.
Ooh. Yeah.
German.
Any signing off messages before we go? Positive ones only.
Positive.
Positive
Okay,
ones.
we got nothing.
See you next time.
See you next time. Peace, guys.
Ready.